Buddy Shorty. How you doing today?
Chillin', what's going on? How you doing?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Finally, another Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Looking forward to the weekend. So, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Doing around the NBA today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, around
Change
the
it up a
NBA.
little
Change
bit.
up a little bit. So, doing around the NBA. Lots been happening in the NBA. So,
It's playoff season.
it's playoff season. Why wouldn't it be?
Mm-hmm.
So, gonna get into the NBA today and only the NBA.
Okay.
First, though, I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers. I was chatting with him in the comments the other day. Real good conversation. Basketball and football. His name is Wandy05 or WA or WAndy05. I don't know how he says it. But anyway, Wandy05. Big shout out to you. Thanks for supporting. And keep checking me out. But big shout out to you. You clearly know what you're talking about when it comes to sports. So I love talking to you. So looking forward to hearing from you again. So shout out to you, and thanks again. Let's get into Coach Mike Budenholzer of the Milwaukee Bucks got fired yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear this.
It's breaking news yesterday.
Oh.
After 5 seasons.
Wow.
5 great seasons, though.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, they were great seasons. He won a championship in 2021 with Giannis and the crew. But they had a first round exit this season to the Miami Heat. I think that's what did them in.
That's too bad.
It's not right.
Yeah, that
It's
doesn't
not
sound
right
fair.
because it's like how you win a championship 2 years ago and they're firing you after you had the best record in the NBA this season. It's kind of harsh. But I think it had to do with the collapse against the number 8 seed. Even though Giannis was hurt for majority 3 of those games. 2 he was out and 1 he got hurt, I think, within the first 11 minutes. So I think that I count that as a not being available that game as well. So pretty much 3 games.
Right.
So that you don't have your best player on the team, yeah, it's gonna be hard to win. But a lot of times the coach is the fall guy. I will say that he got outcoached by Eric Spoelstra in that first round. Their defensive scheme on Jimmy Butler was not good. They should have ran more double teams at him. They shouldn't have had Drew Holiday on him the whole time, or pretty much the majority of the time. They should have put different defenders on him and give him different looks. But they also should have really double teamed him more than they did. That single coverage on Jimmy Butler did not work. Also, Coach Bud did not use timeouts correctly a lot of times. There's crucial times in those games where he could have called timeout and he did not. And that was a problem. So he definitely got out coached. Another thing that I noticed is that they signed Jay Crowder, who's a very good player for the Phoenix Suns. They signed him, but they didn't play him. I couldn't understand that. I thought Jay Crowder could have been a help to them, especially with Giannis, out. They play a similar position. Thought Jay Crowder could have really helped them, and I think Jay Crowder was even, puzzled as to why he wasn't playing. He wasn't getting any minutes. So I thought that was a mistake.
Right.
Thought Jay Crowder definitely should have been playing. Think he could have been very helpful.
Right.
And he probably could have guarded Jimmy Butler. He's a tough physical defender. He probably could have guarded Jimmy Butler. So I really don't understand why that didn't happen. Also with Coach Bud, I watched basketball all season. And to me, throughout this season, he looked burnt out. He looked and he doesn't look healthy, to be honest with you.
So maybe there's something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, to me, it's something going on because he just looked tired. I mean, coaches always look tired, but it was more than that. He looked frazzled. He looked kind of out of it, so, and that happens. Coaches do suffer burnout. They suffer from that sometimes because it's a demanding job.
Very intense.
It's very intense. So I think it's a blessing in disguise that he got fired. I don't think he deserved to be fired, but I think he probably needs to take time away from coaching. Just for his health. He to me didn't look healthy. I could be totally wrong, but it's just my observation.
Right.
Also, moving on, Chris Paul got hurt in game 2 of their series, Phoenix Suns series against the Denver Nuggets. He suffered a groin injury in game number 2. My advice to Chris Paul.
If he's listening.
He's probably not listening, but
in case he's listening.
In case he's listening, in the off chance that he is listening. But just my observation. Chris Paul turns 38 tomorrow. Generally, in the playoffs, he's been getting hurt within the past few years. It just seems to happen with him. He gets hurt. It's either his groin or his hamstring. Something happens. My advice, if he wants to continue to play, I think he should consider coming off the bench. Play less minutes. Try to save your body throughout the season. There's nothing wrong. You're still going to be a Hall of Famer. You're still a great player who's towards the end of his career.
Right.
I could see him in a Kyle Lowry type of role. Kyle Lowry plays for the Miami Heat. He comes off the bench. He used to be a starter. He comes off the bench now when he's productive off the bench. He's an older player, just like Chris Paul. Kyle Lowry's been a star player. But sometimes, age catches up to you. Little nagging injuries catches up to you. I think Chris Paul, whether he's playing for the Phoenix Suns or another team, I think let one of these young guys start at point guard. You come off the bench. I think it will save his career. I think it will extend his career.
Right.
That's just my observation from what I've been seeing from him the past few years. It's not that he still can't play. It's just that he gets hurt at the end of the season.
Right.
His body can't hold up. So I think he should start playing less minutes and preferably off the bench. That's just my observation from what I see. Because Phoenix Suns, they're down 0-2 to the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are up 2-0. And the Suns are just not deep enough. They got KD. They got Devin Booker. They got DeAndre Ayton. But sometimes he's not very productive. He should be. He's a very good player, but he's very inconsistent. So Denver's just a better team. They're a deeper team. And with Chris Paul hurt, I don't really see how they're going to win this series. That is going to be tough for them. But yeah, Chris Paul, I think next season he should consider coming off the bench. Moving on. Joel Embiid. Can't forget about him. He won the MVP. He was my selection to win the MVP, and he won it well-deserved. Props to him. When they interviewed him, he got real emotional because he's had a long journey. He's from Africa. Didn't start playing basketball till he was 15 years old. That's very late.
Right.
It's very late to start playing basketball. Started playing basketball at 15, and he became the MVP of the NBA.
Nice. Kudos to him.
Props to Joel Embiid. Well deserved. Moving on. Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, Memphis Grizzlies.
Dylan Brooks.
Memphis Grizzlies say they are not interested in having him back with the team.
No surprise.
Under no circumstances will he be back with the team.
Strong words.
Yeah, he's been the Memphis Grizzlies who's been there the longest, and they're done with him. They had an exit interview with him, and they said, "Nah, we're good. We're good. We don't need you." Apparently, which I found out recently, they have been offering him contract extensions throughout the season, or the early part of the season, and he's been turning these contract extensions down. That was the first straw against him. Like they were like, "Wow, you're turning these contracts down," and apparently they were pretty good contracts. So they're like, "All right, whatever, we'll, finish the season with you." But then he started poking the bear.
Second straw?
By poking the bear, yeah. By poking the bear. calling LeBron James old, saying you ain't care about him, like you was gonna go, toe to toe with him, whatever. You're a role player, dude. Why you poking the bear of a superstar? That's not smart. That's not smart. You're not good enough to do that. And LeBron James showed you.
Yeah, exactly.
He showed you. He shut you up real quick. And they beat you. And you didn't do a lot for your team. So it's like you talking, but what are you doing to combat all that talk? And then when you lose and you're supposed to be doing your media sessions, you don't do them.
Sure, 3.
Right. You're obligated to speak to the media after games. You duck out. You do all this talking before the games. But after the game, you can't face the media because you lost. And LeBron got the best of you, which everybody knew would happen.
Right.
Like, what's the point of that? All you're doing is making it harder on your teammates to win the games. The ones that are actually more productive than you are.
Those teammates.
Those guys like Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bain. Those guys. They really got to really compete against these guys and try to win the game. And you talking shot about 30% during that series against the Lakers. Average probably about 7 to 8 points. Like, dude, you're not doing nothing.
You can't talk with those kind of
numbers. You can't talk with those numbers. Those are not numbers. Those are not talking numbers.
Those are not talking numbers.
You gotta have like 20 points, 10 rebounds, something like that. Those are talking numbers. What you're doing is not talking numbers. So like, and then apparently I heard that I don't know how true it is, but there's whispers that he wanted $25 million a year.
With his non-talking numbers.
With your non-talking numbers. Like, your numbers are whispering, dude.
What are you talking about?
You can't, bruh.
He does a lot of talking,
Does a lot of talking for somebody who's a role player. I never heard a role player talk so much. Like, come on, man.
Wow.
So you're not getting $25 million a year. I don't try to knock anybody's money, but dude, come on, man. You're not getting $25 million a year. You're a good defender. You're a tough guy to a certain extent. But at the same time, they're not paying $25 million to guys like that, especially guys that at any given point can get kicked out of a game because you want to hit somebody in the nuts and stuff like that. Like, come on, man. You got into it with Donovan Mitchell, who's not even a violent dude. And you hit Donovan Mitchell below the belt, and Donovan Mitchell responded. Like, those type of things it's just not going to fly. So I don't know where he's going to end up next season. But if he doesn't get his act together, he might find his way out of the NBA and end up playing overseas. Pretty sure you don't want that to happen. So sometimes people got to humble themselves and realize who they are. And that's fine. He's not a bad player. He's just not a star. And sometimes you need to be a star in your role. You could be a star role player. There's nothing wrong with that. Be a star in your role. Do what you do best. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of players that played 10, 15 years that way. And there's nothing wrong. Everybody's not going to be a superstar. It's just not in the cards. That doesn't happen. Everybody's not a superstar. So I'm going to lay off Dylan Brooks right now. Move on to what I really want to talk about, my New York Knicks.
Of course.
Of course. You know I'm going to get to my New York
Save the
Knicks.
best for the last.
Why would I not? Why would I not? Knicks are now 1-1 tied with Miami. Going back to Miami tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. The Knicks won the last game by 6 points. To me, it was an up and down game, kind of lopsided. Back and forth type of game. Knicks need to play better. They need to play. They won the game, but I'm disappointed in our bench. The bench needs to step it up. Emmanuel Quickley, one of my favorite players on the team, he's got to play better. He's got to play better. The Knicks rely on him for bench production. He's got to give that to him. Obi Toppin, he's got to play better. Quentin Grimes, I understand he has a shoulder contusion, but they're playing him. He's out there playing. You got to hit some shots. They rely on you for your shooting and your defense. You got to hit some shots. Also, if Emmanuel Quickly and Quentin Grimes are not going to be playing that well, I've been saying this. Miles Deuce McBride should get minutes. He's known as a defender. Put him out there. This guy, Gabe Vincent on Miami point guard, he's been destroying the Knicks every single game he plays. This guy, I think, has gotten 18 or 20 points every single game they played. He's a good player. Him and Deuce McBride are about the same size. Deuce could probably guard him.
Right.
Play him. Play him. See what you get. Tibbs should play him. Put him out there for 10 minutes. See what you get. You know, you might be happy with the results. If Emmanuel Quickly and Quentin Grimes are not going to play up to their, potential. Nothing wrong with that. Play Deuce. He's not a scared type of dude. I think he could play under the circumstances. Also, Josh Hart, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. This dude has never been in the playoffs before, and he's playing like he's been in the playoffs year after year.
Nice.
Never been in the playoffs, but he's not intimidated by the moment. So, Josh Hart, shout out to you. Keep doing what you're doing. And we'll leave it there.
All right. Big props. All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we hope to hear from the folks down in the comments below. Chat it up with Sporty Shorty.
Yes.
Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Share the video. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.